So, how to use my meditations to change your beliefs? It's actually two very quick steps. Pick one and then do it. But there's a few details. So, let's get into that right now. So, if you're out looking to change your beliefs, there's a lot of different ways to do it. I mean, a lot of people swear by a lot of different things. But for me, what I've found over these past 5 years, and something that I do on a regular basis, is I meditate. And within the meditation, I work to change my beliefs. So the step one, as I said before, is simply pick one. Okay. Now that's a pretty easy thing to do, right? Because you've got something in your life that's not particularly working well. And it's a matter of just picking that one particular belief. So you could choose something like, I am limitless. I believe in myself. I deserve anything that I want. Now, I have created a lot of guided meditations. At the end of this and down in the description, I'll have a link to the playlist of all of my guided meditations. So you can go in there and pick whatever you'd like. So the main thing is just pick one, the one that you want to do. Now, the one thing that I'll say is, as it says in the title of this, you don't necessarily need to use my guided meditations to work on your beliefs. I certainly think that mine are pretty good, and I'll tell you about those in a second here. But what you really want to look for when you're looking to change your beliefs, at least the way I approach things, is you want a guided meditation that's kind of based around what I and many people call suggestions. And, other people call them affirmations, right? It's kind of like small beliefs or the thoughts that you want to think and that you want to keep repeating inside your head. So you want it based around there. There are actually some meditations out there that are kind of more story-based, which they're great. They're awesome. Calm you down, take you through different things. You meet your guides and all of that. And they're fantastic. But from my standpoint and the way I approach things, I think that meditations based on the affirmations or the suggestions, as I like to call them, is really the best way to go. And the reason for that is now I'll get into the explanation of how I go about creating my guided meditations. So what I do is I try to build things around the one central core belief that you're trying to establish. So let's say if it's, I believe in myself, I could sit there and, any of us could do a meditation and we could just simply say to ourselves, I believe in myself, I believe in myself, I believe in myself, which that's awesome, right? You're trying to establish that new belief. You're trying to hardwire it into your brain, get the habit going of thinking that belief instead of I don't believe in myself. But what I've found is that most all beliefs, they're all associated together. So that if you work on just the one, I believe in myself, what you don't end up doing is kind of addressing all the other side beliefs. So what I do is I take that central core belief, like I believe in myself, and I start building statements and suggestions around that are kind of related, kind of like, I am amazing. I am intelligent. I'm smart. I get things done. I am fantastic. I love myself, whatever it is. So I try to build up those statements around the central core one so that when they're all together, associated together, you end up kind of setting up a new neural network based around that one belief. And they kind of end up feeding each other. Because the other aspect of this, when you do the meditation, is what you want to do is you want to feel each of those suggestions. You want to feel what it feels like to have that already in your life. And that's one of the main keys. It's why in my meditations, every time in the beginning, I say that to remember to feel each of the statements. Because that's when things start to really get bound together well and they begin to change things in your head. So find a meditation that has at its core what your focus is, with the belief that you want to establish, and that also kind of starts building up the associated beliefs around that. So it becomes a package. So it's a lot stronger when you do place it inside your head. So that is step one. Now, step two is do it. Now, this may sound like the most simple statement to say, but you got to do it, right? Because you want to change your beliefs. And as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, he's great at this. He sits there and he says, well, if it's taken you this long to establish the belief inside your head, right? The limited belief, the one you don't want, I think it's going to take a little more than half a second to change it. So you want to repeat this process. You want to keep going at it. Again, because as Dr. Joe said, it's taken this long to wire it the way it is. So give yourself the chance. And what ends up happening also is you end up getting more confidence as you do this and you start to see things happening. So you want to do it and you want to repeat it. I like to say 21 to 31 days. And I'll do another video on why that is, but you kind of get the logic of it to begin with, right? At the very simple level. You want to repeat it to learn it. You learn it and establish it and hardwire it in. Again, the two things are just pick one guided meditation that you want to do, and then do it and repeat it 21 to 31 days. And by the end of that, you're going to see some changes within your life, I believe. That's my belief. Because I've lived that. I've changed things. I've taken 5 years of my life and I have meditated for the most part every morning. And especially in the beginning, most every one of those mornings was all geared towards changing limiting beliefs that I have. And it's worked pretty well. I still have more to go, but I now have the way that I can do it. So if you have any questions, let me know down in the comments here. But what I'm going to do is I'll put somewhere on the screen here a playlist for all of my guided meditations. I'll put a link down in the descriptions and just pick one and go for it. Love ya.